G'day folks, and welcome to Gormo's Shed. This week we're in the Handy Hint series again, and what we're going to look at is how to accurately cut paper and card, and a couple of little tips for gluing brick paper onto anything that you may be working on. So what we'll do is we'll move out into the workshop and we'll start looking at that now. Now the important things you need, folks, is firstly a very sharp blade. I use these Stanley snap-off blades. Other people use scalpels. Any sort of blade that you use, make sure it's pristine. If you're trying to cut with a dull blade, you're wasting your time. And the other thing, of course, is I use a steel straight edge. I mean, some people I've seen use plastic straight edges, and I can't for the life of me work that out, but obviously it works for them. I can see the blade cutting into a plastic straight edge, so it's not going to cut into a steel straight edge. Now if we want to cut exactly on the edge of this paving strip here, the way I go about it is firstly to use the point of the blade and push it right in through the paper onto the line where I want to cut exactly, and do the same at the other end, exactly on the line with the point. Now I hold the point there on the second hole, and I bring the straight edge up to touch the blade, and then I take the blade out, put it back in the first hole. You can feel it, you can find the hole, push the straight edge against the blade there, check your second one again. Make sure that the straight edge is touching the blade when the blade is in the hole. Now you're good to go. Now you've got to obviously keep your fingers out of the way. You've got to operate very safely here. You've got to think. Firstly, you've got to have downward pressure on the steel straight edge. You've got to keep your fingers out of the way, and when you drag the knife along the paper, don't force it down, sort of have medium to firm pressure along the knife as it's pushing up against the straight edge, and then just gently draw it along the straight edge. Now you might need a couple of goes. I like to do that, but the paper has just come away cleanly there. And if we move the steel straight edge away, you can see we've got a nice straight cut there. I'll zoom in on that so you can have a look. Okay, you can see from the end of it there all the way along. That it's consistent. There we are. Another way of doing this, folks, is to use a pin. I've got just a normal sewing pin here, and some people prefer to use a pin to push into the line, like so, to make their hole, and then come back with the blade later on. Myself, I can't see the point in this, but that's the way some people do it. I'd rather just use the blade, but anyway, that's up to you. Now folks, a little tip for making models as well, especially with brick paper. Whether you do scratch building or whether you're building a model, one of the downloadable models,
one of the things that bugs me about some of those models that I've seen made is that when you look at the doorways, the windows, some of the corners, the edges are rounded because the paper has just been pulled around. There's been no attention given to making a sharp edge on that opening, which is what it's like in real life. If you look at the surrounds of a brick window, the bricks have a sharp edge, the same with doorways and that sort of thing. So I try and achieve that the best I can if I'm putting brick paper on models, and I'll show you the method I use to do it. And I've just made up a rough bit of sample here. This is just a bit of 2mm card with some brick paper on it, and I've cut out a window opening. And if you pay a little bit of attention to getting your edges nice and crisp, it makes the model look better. So I also use one of these bottles. This is a Metcalf one. This is for supplying glue to the project. So, and you can supply very small amounts, which is good. So I'll show you how we go about it.
Right, the first thing to do, folks, is to cut the paper so that you can actually fold it around the opening. And we've got quite a big opening here. We don't really need that much paper to fold back onto the back of the cardboard there. So I'm just going to cut a little square first, and remembering that we've got a nice tip on this blade. I've just actually broken it off just a little while ago, and I'll cut a square out of the middle. It doesn't have to be accurate, but just allow yourself enough to fold back, because what we'll do now is some 45 cuts from the corner, and we'll get rid of that bit out of there. Now we do roughly 45-degree cut from each corner, so we come down to there, and then we come down to there. And for the sake of the camera, I'm sort of working at an awkward angle here, but so you guys can see. And we'll go backwards on this one. This will be interesting. Right, got it. Okay, so there we are. So we've got our corners now, our edges I should say, and they will fold back, and then we'll glue them down. Now what I like to do is I take a screwdriver, and because it's got a round shaft, and the first piece that I want to fold back, I rub the shaft along the edge so that it forces a sharp edge onto the paper. I do that first, just on the one edge, and then we will glue that. So this is where our little dropper comes in, our little glue dropper. Now, I've found with this thing, instead of trying to put oh look, this is gluggy sort of glue, I just put drops of glue on here. This is because it's gone a bit rusty in the container here. That doesn't matter, it'll still stick. Yeah, don't put a fantastic amount of glue on there. And then again, turn it over and rub again along that part you just did. And at the same time, forcing down now on the edge to flatten it on there. It's forcing the glue on there. And then turn it over and then work it back with your fingers so that it sticks down. Looks a bit messy there, but that's alright. And then we'll give it another rub just to make sure. And we finish up with a nice edge on there. So we do that for all 4 sides, and we'll finish up with a nice edge. So I'll get on and do another one. So the next one in line is this one. Again, just rub the edge so you get a nice sharp edge. Lay it down, take your glue, just dots of glue as I said before, And again, get the screwdriver, rub it down, and then work it down flat. Push it back over. And work that back edge a bit too if you can. But concentrate on getting that inside edge flat. So I'll just do the rest of those. Okay folks, I hope you can see how that's worked out there. It's a nice edge on it. And I think that looks far better than just having the rounded sort of edge. I mean, it's very little work to achieve that. Yeah, and it comes up a lot better. Okay folks, there we go. We've finished up a little window there, or whatever it is. It's a bit big for a window. It's a rather large window in 4mm scale, but yeah, that's all there is to it. Just a bit more attention to detail, and I think it makes a big difference to your models actually in the end. And just remember, be safe when you're using those knives. It's very easy to slice yourself. I've done it myself, and yeah, had to get a couple of stitches. So be very, very careful when you're cutting, and don't have any distractions around you, little children or anything like that. You need to be able to concentrate on what you're doing and be safe. Okay, cheers, Gormo.